What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Today we're breaking down the first 5 chapters of the NIS Rookie, the manhwa about the most accidentally successful spy in East Asia. No training. No exam. Just pure stupid luck. Let's get into it. Chapter 1. The Accidental Agent. So meet our guy. He's doing his mandatory military service, minding his business, when someone from the Special Warfare Command casually recommends him for a special NIS recruitment. That's the National Intelligence Service. South Korea's version of the CIA. No exam. No test. Just, congratulations, you're a grade 7 civil servant. His reaction? Basically, free government salary, sure, why not? So the NIS ships him off to Dandong, China, a city sitting right on the border with North Korea, separated only by the Yalu River Railway Bridge. One of the most geopolitically explosive spots on the planet. His job: watch the bridge. Write reports. Go home. Repeat. He is completely at peace with this. Then one night, he takes a bonus night shift. 5 million won for one night. Easy money, right? That one decision changes everything. Chapter 2. Wrong place, right time. The night shift starts normal. Then something happens near the bridge, the kind of incident a trained field agent would handle with years of experience behind them. He has none of that. What he has is panic, improvisation, and somehow, it works. He stumbles through the chaos. Things explode around him. And by sheer cosmic luck, he doesn't die, and the situation gets resolved. He has no idea how. Neither does anyone watching. Chapter ends with, he's now involved. There's no clocking out of this. Chapter 3. Multiple countries are now involved. The incident from Chapter 2 wasn't contained. It's rippling outward, pulling in Chinese elements, North Korean angles, other intelligence operatives who've now noticed something happening in Dandong. And then she appears. The woman from the cover. Sharp eyes, glasses, brown hair, the kind of composure that only comes from actual training. She enters his orbit, and immediately she's suspicious. Because from the outside, this rookie is holding it together. He looks competent. He looks like he knows what he's doing. He absolutely does not. She doesn't know that yet. Chapter ends with, the stakes have doubled. Someone capable is now watching him. Chapter 4. Everyone thinks I'm a genius. This is where the comedy hits hardest. Back in Seoul, his superiors are reading field reports. The reports say, rookie agent in Dandong is performing exceptionally under pressure. Multi-country incident contained. Mission success. What the reports don't say, he was terrified the entire time. He guessed. He panicked. The universe covered for him. This is the core irony of the whole series. The gap between his reputation and his reality is growing wider by the chapter. And the more it grows, the harder it becomes to walk it back. He just wanted a paycheck. Now the NIS thinks he's their best man in China. Chapter ends with, he's been flagged. Someone higher up wants to know more about this guy. Chapter 5. The first arc closes, but something's coming. The immediate crisis wraps. He survived. The mission is marked successful. He even gets credit he didn't earn. But nothing is clean. There are loose threads. A new player has been introduced. Someone who doesn't add up, someone whose presence in Dandong raises questions that the first arc didn't answer. And now our guy is officially on the radar. Not just of the NIS back home, but of people on the other side too. He wanted to be invisible. He is now the most visible rookie agent in the region. He just wanted the paycheck. Now he's a person of interest to at least 3 countries.
Alright, welcome to this explainer. Today we're cracking open a seriously fascinating and honestly completely baffling after-action intelligence debrief. We're going to analyze the operational record of an agent known as Chang Gong. Now, on paper, he's an entry-level, highly expendable surveillance operative stationed in Dandong, China, which, if you know the area, is this incredibly tense, multinational powder keg of intelligence agencies and criminal syndicates. Yet somehow, this seemingly low-level desk jockey single-handedly dismantled entire criminal networks. I mean, how does an agent who literally treats his job like a mundane 9-to-5 grind achieve results that seasoned Black Ops veterans can't even fathom? Well, we're going to break down the tactics, the psychology, and frankly, the sheer audacity of this operative.
So, let's dive right into this bizarre contradiction. Put yourself in his shoes for a second. Picture this. You're cornered at a drug deal gone wrong. You're completely outgunned, outmanned, and you're begging for your life, putting on this pathetic display of absolute cowardice. Yet, minutes later, you manage to walk away from a massive crossfire between two of the deadliest factions in the entire region, holding a fortune in stolen cash, and you leave absolutely no witnesses behind. How on earth does that happen? Is it just sheer unbelievable luck? Or is there a meticulously calculated strategy hiding behind this mask of total incompetence?
To really get a read on Chang Gong, we first have to look at his history, specifically his ridiculous excuses for completing these impossible high-stakes missions. He is the ultimate unreliable narrator. His former military commandant even noted that Chang Gong is an absolute legend who consistently recovered stolen military supplies, rescued hostages, and captured high-value terrorists. But whenever he's actually asked for an after-action report, he just shrugs it off. He'll say things like, "I went to take a dump and got lucky I ran into them," or, "I got lucky I ran into him while shopping." He actively weaponizes this appearance of dumb luck just to lower everyone's expectations.
And that brilliantly illustrates the stark contrast at his core. Outwardly, he's Agent Dove 5. He's greedy, he's clumsy, he's totally obsessed with securing his 5 million won overtime pay, and he is extremely quick to drop to his knees and beg the second a gun is pointed at him. But hiding beneath all that is the reality. Staff Sergeant Chang Gong, a guy known back in the Army's Special Warfare Command as a tactical monster. The second a bullets start flying, the clumsy Dove 5 just vanishes, and the lethal instincts of that special warfare monster instantly take over.
Okay, Section 1. Surviving the gas station.
Let's actually look at how this dual identity plays out in the field. Imagine this high-stakes crossfire at an abandoned gas station in Dandong. We're talking a massive, lethal standoff between the global criminal network of the Triads and North Korea's secret Workers' Party organization, Room 39. And just look at this number, 30. He was completely surrounded. That's 30 heavily armed, highly trained combatants against just one undercover photographer, who, by the way, only showed up because he was promised some extra overtime pay. When a gun is pressed to your head and they're literally attaching silencers to execute you, absolute panic should be the only logical response.
But instead of freezing, his hidden tactical expertise instantly kicks in with this rapid-fire survival strategy. Step 1. In a fraction of a second, he deflects the gun, strikes his attacker, steals the weapon, and uses the guy as a human shield. Step 2. He fires just enough shots to create total chaos, then immediately hides, letting these two highly paranoid factions mistake the gunfire as a betrayal from the other side. Step 3. He just stays out of sight. He lets the Triads and Room 39 completely wipe each other out in a massive firefight. And finally, Step 4. He systematically erases his presence by shooting out the nearby CCTV cameras. I mean, it is a masterclass in asymmetrical survival.
But here's the kicker. The crucial point of this engagement isn't just that he survived, it's his incredibly audacious, opportunistic pivot right at the end. Right there, amidst the corpses of 30 dangerous operatives, he finds a bag containing roughly 2.4 billion won, which is about $2 million US. And instead of reporting it like a good agent, his greed takes over. He buries the gang money and the drugs near the gas station, keeping the ultimate prize entirely for himself. And it's this impulsive, greedy decision that kicks off a massive chain reaction, eventually forcing him to break every single rule in the espionage playbook.
Which brings us to Section 2, Tactics versus Undercover Protocols. Now we need to compare his brutal boots-on-the-ground survival tactics against his agency's strict protocols. According to the clinical guidelines of the NIS, the National Intelligence Service, a Dove agent is an entry-level operative designated strictly for field observation. They are meant to avoid combat at all costs. And worse, the agency views Dove agents as entirely expendable. When Chang Gong's veteran handler, Old Man Choi, is assassinated shortly after that gas station shootout, protocol dictates that Chang Gong should evacuate to a safe house and await extraction. He does go to the safe house, but the agency coldly tells him to return to his compromised post because, well, as a dove, replacing him is just easier than protecting him.
So what does Chang Gong do? He throws standard protocol completely out the window. While protocol demands he hide his identity and evacuate, his actual tactics are the exact opposite. Why? Because his secret $2 million loot is still buried in the city, and he outright refuses to flee China without it. When the polar bear gang shows up to raid his base, instead of running, he stays and fights an entire hit squad of 17 men head-on. He effortlessly beats them all down, deliberately exposing his face to the enemy in the process. He's operating not as a spy trying to remain unseen, but basically as a heavily armed homeowner defending a $2 million prize.
Moving right along to Section 3, the gasoline interrogation.
This leads us directly into the climax of his unorthodox spycraft. With a room full of battered gang members and a furious senior operative named Hawk 9 demanding he resign for blowing his cover, Chang Gong has to improvise a chaotic, truly terrifying interrogation method just to justify staying in the city. To fully grasp the psychological dominance he flexes here, you gotta look at this hierarchy. The polar bear gang boss comes in hot, screaming about his authority, but Chang Gong mathematically deconstructs his threat. He points out that the triads of the kings, the Black Dragon Society runs the province beneath them, and the polar bear gang, they're just subcontractors of a subcontractor. Absolute bottom-tier thugs. By accurately mocking their low status, he strips away all their bravado before the real psychological torture even begins.
And then he completely shatters his bumbling Dove 5 persona. Just imagine him casually pouring highly flammable gasoline all over this terrified gang leader. He acts like a completely unreasoning, lethal beast obsessed with only one singular fact, that his identity was compromised. No matter how much the gang boss begs or promises to stay quiet, Chang Gong just deadpans, "Since you've seen my face, die."
And this builds into an act of absolute tactical brilliance. The senior agent, Hawk 9, is watching this unfold, fully thinking Chang Gong has lost his mind. But look at the steps here. He pours the gasoline, and by feigning this psychotic, unreasoning madness, he backs the gang into a corner where they literally have to negotiate for their own lives. He forces the terrified gang members to voluntarily offer up top-secret Black Dragon Society intel as collateral just to survive the interrogation. By recording these gang secrets on camera, Chang Gong secures high-value intelligence that guarantees headquarters won't fire him, which, of course, buys him the time he needs to secretly recover his buried millions.
Finally, Section 4, the final verdict.
Hawk 9, who is a seasoned Black Ops specialist brought in to clean up what he thought was a rookie's mess, is forced to weigh two impossible realities. On one side, Chang Gong committed unforgivable rule-breaking errors. His base was compromised, and his identity was exposed to the enemy. Those are cardinal sins in espionage. But on the other side, he achieved, frankly, miraculous operational success. He subdued 17 armed enemies in close quarters, resulted in 0 civilian casualties, controlled a wildly volatile situation, and secured critical high-level intelligence on the Black Dragon Society.
So, looking at the sheer weight of the evidence we've explored today, his survival against impossible odds, his brilliant psychological manipulation, and his complete unapologetic disregard for protocol and pursuit of a massive payday, you have to ask yourself a question. Is Chang